Hi, and welcome to Mondays with Marlo. I'm very, very excited to have Tracy with us today, Tracy Steinberg. I love the title of your book. What is it?
Flirt for Fun and Meet the One.
Oh, that's so great. And Tracy is the datologist. And I said to her, is that a real word? And she made it up. So that means you are the one and only datologist.
Yes,
well,
I trademarked it, so I better be the only
really?
one.
Oh, that's great. Well, going over the questions today, it's obvious that people really do need what you know. So I'm very excited that you're here.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So we've got lots of good stuff for you today. Okay, so the first question is from Denise. And she wants to know, what's the best way to end a date? I mean, like a first, second, or third date. I always find it awkward, lingering exchange, especially if I'm attracted to the guy. Are there any rules of thumb on this?
That's great. Well, the best way to end a date, Denise, is to leave him wanting more. And by that I mean, first and foremost, don't make any promises for the future. Don't say, we definitely have to do this again or anything like that. It's okay to leave him a little bit nervous. Also, the end of the date, a lot of women like the man to kiss or make that move. And if he's not doing it, but you still want to maybe be a little bit intimate, you can just give him a hug and a kiss and just tell him, I had so much fun.
Great, nice. Very nice. Where were you when I needed you?
You did fine.
This is from Jackie. I have a date with a guy I've had a crush on for months. I'm super nervous. I feel a lot of pressure to be charming and have him fall for me. How do I leave him wanting more? What are your tips for that?
Okay, well, by far the most attractive trait is confidence. So the best thing for you to do, Jackie, is to make a list of 10 reasons why you would be a great girlfriend and why this handsome man would be lucky to go on a date with you. And read it over and over and over until you fully absorb how amazing you are, so that you can walk in feeling confident. And if he's on a date with you, then it's because he wants to give you a chance. So he wants it to be as much fun as you do. So
So don't tell him the list. It's just for you.
yes, don't tell him. Don't tell him the list. Like, before I was on the date, I was reading why I'm great.
That's just to build your confidence.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Good luck, Jackie.
This is from Suzanne. I'm Tracy. Oh, hi, Tracy. I'm 32. I tend to date guys my own age who earn about as much as I do. So I'm wondering how often I should offer to pay. The second date, once a week, never help.
That's a great question. I get that a lot. I believe that relationships work best when the man pursues the woman. So by that I mean that I think it's really nice when a man chooses a first date that he can afford. And then after that, as the relationship progresses, then I think it's nice for a woman to maybe pick up like dessert after you go for dinner. And then over time, you can make it so that it's more even. But certainly in the beginning, I'm a big fan of let him pursue you, let him have the confidence of knowing that he had to earn you.
Oh. Well, what about if you were the aggressor? What if I say to this man, I'm going to this party on Saturday night, and I'd love you to come with me, and then afterwards you go for drinks. Who pays?
Right. Well, I have to say, Marlo, I'm a big fan of a woman trying to inspire a man to ask her out, but I really think the dynamics work best when the man pursues and the woman encourages and appreciates his pursuit, but doesn't actually do the asking.
So
out.
you don't think a woman should invite a man to a party that she'd like to see? If she knows him?
No.
Oh, well, I don't agree on that.
Are we going to duke it out?
I don't agree on that one, but okay. This is from Stephanie. What are your tips for preparing for a date and making sure that I'm putting my best foot forward?
Okay. The best way to prepare for a date is to look your best and to feel your best. So like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of pumping yourself up and really getting your confidence as best as it possibly can be. Remind yourself why you're awesome. Remind yourself why he's lucky to be on a date with you. And also, in addition to that, wear clothes that make you feel really pretty. I work with men and women, and men consistently tell me that they like a woman who, and this is a direct quote, takes care of herself. And that is from old, young, tall, short, you name it, universally men tell me that
your hands look nice and everything looks good.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that you're in tip-top shape.
Right.
So make sure that your clothes are flattering to you, that they're not too overexposed, but yet you're not in a turtleneck. You want to walk that flirty, sexy line as far as clothes, and maybe a little heel to feel a little sexy.
Absolutely. This is from Steve. I met a woman through my circle of friends the other night, and I'd love to talk to her more. For now, just around the group. Are there any tips on what to talk about and what not to talk about as I get to know her a little bit more?
Sure. Well, since she's brand new in your life, Steve, I'm a huge fan of keeping the conversations very light and easy to talk about. So you already have something in common. You already have a group of friends. So the best conversation would be to talk about how much you enjoy your friends, your mutual friends, and that's easy to talk about because you know that she knows about that. And then from there, if you wanted to get a little bit more personal, I think the best conversation is, what do you like to do for fun? And to really find out, what are her passions? What is she interested in? Because everyone's favorite conversation is their favorite conversation. So the best thing you can do is to really find out what are her passions and talk about those, because she'll enjoy talking about them.
And also giving something of yourself, don't you think? You know, I really love to do such and such. What about you? So it doesn't feel like an interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. You never want it to feel like an interview.
Right.
So you can have the back and forth. But in general, most people really like talking about their favorite subjects more than your favorite subject, which they may or may not be interested in. If they are interested in, great, keep it going.
Yeah.
But if they're not, get it back to their favorite subject.
This is from Nancy. I met a guy through work. My job requires a lot of travel, so it's nice to have met someone cool to travel on the road with. He's married with kids, and I just got married a year ago. We work very well together, and he's a great conversationalist, and so far neither of our spouses has any issue with it. But lately, he's gotten flirty, nothing obscene, just mentioning I'm pretty and really complimenting my intelligence. Honestly, half of me knows this is trouble, and half of me likes it. Sometimes I flirt back. I'm not sure what to make of this or how to set parameters. What is your advice?
Right. Well, I'm sure you already know this has potential danger written all over it. Unfortunately, as much fun as it is, if you're married, he's married, and you're maybe having thoughts of being a little too flirty, unfortunately, I recommend you take a back seat and just really try and take a little space and remind yourself of why you married your husband, and just keep yourself focused on your husband.
This is from Melissa. Any thoughts about age differences in those dating, women versus men, being older, younger in the relationship?
Alyssa, I'm a huge fan of just being really open about age. In fact, I tell my clients that if you're going to set age parameters, you better have a really good reason for it. So if, let's say, you say, I only want to date someone younger, well then why? What is it about younger people that's so attractive? Is it because they're maybe more athletic and more active? Great. Use that as your parameter and let the age specification go, because you could be excluding people that you want to include, and you could be including people that you don't.
Yeah, that you don't need. This is from Ginger. Hi, Tracy. How do I know that someone is the one? I love my boyfriend and I think that I want to eventually marry him, but I want to be sure. How do I know?
That's a great question. And I remember that before I met my husband, people always said this answer, and they said, you'll know.
Yes.
And before I met my husband, I was like, what does that mean? Make yourself crazy? Like, I don't know what that means. And my answer, unfortunately, Ginger, is you'll know. And I think that what happens is when you get to really know your boyfriend very well, you'll see that either you not only have a great dynamic, he treats you with the utmost respect, love, he makes you feel special, but also that for your future, you want the same things out of life. I think that when you have all of that, when you have a beautiful, loving relationship, and you want all of the same things, or most of the same things out of your future, I think there's just this intuition that comes in. And I remember the day when I knew that my boyfriend, now husband, was the one. It was just this overwhelming feeling that you just can't ignore. What did you think?
Well, actually, Phil and I broke up for a while before we got married because things were too difficult with all of our traveling. And once we broke up, for a couple of months, it became obvious he was the one. So sometimes
and it's worked out.
Yeah, 35 years. But sometimes it is good to step back a little bit and do something else, date somebody else or whatever. Just get away from the relationship and see how you really feel still. That's what I think. That worked for me. This is from Rosa. I've been on again, off again with my boyfriend for 4 years. I don't think we can ever really be serious because my parents don't like him. Why do I keep holding on? I can't seem to let go, and I always return to him.
That is a very challenging question, and probably more than I could answer in a few minutes. But basically, you might need to step back and really think about, well, why don't my parents like him? Do my parents dislike him for something superficial that doesn't bother me? Or do my parents dislike him because they don't think he's good for me on a level that maybe is best for you? So I would say you need to figure out what exactly is it about your parents that don't like him, and also what exactly is it about it that you keep getting attracted to, and maybe taking some time back to really get some space and figure out what's best for you is probably a good idea.
Right. But yeah, that's a very good thought, though. Is it a superficial reason? They don't think he's handsome enough?
Right.
Or is he into drugs? I mean, what is the reason?
Right.
So that's the most important thing to figure out. This is from Glenda. Hi, Tracy. I need some tips. There is a really attractive man in my office, but we don't work in the same department, and I have no, quote, professional excuse to talk to him. How do I break the ice? Is this a bad idea?
Glenda, that is a great idea. So many happily married couples met at the office. So the fact that you don't work with him directly is actually great.
Yes.
Is there a coffee house right by that he goes to? Is there a water cooler that he goes to? You can just, next time you see him, just strike up a conversation about anything that's in the environment. If he's waiting for the elevator, you could say, "Oh, thanks for holding the elevator for me." Whatever it is, just say a statement with a question to just break the ice in a light, flirty, light and breezy way. And break the ice.
Absolutely.
Don't let that cutie go.
This is from Theo. Any tips on dating someone with a child? I just started dating a guy with a young daughter.
Right. Well, that can be a little bit complicated, but really, at this point, it's not your problem. It's really your boyfriend's decision to determine how and when to introduce his new girlfriend to the child. So I would say at this point, just be open and go with the flow and see how it works out.
Yes, I dated a man with 5 children, and it worked out fine. It is challenging, though. This is from Kaylee. At what point do you just give up? And I don't know what this means. Does this mean give up on ever finding the guy, or give up on the guy you're with? I'm not sure what Kaylee means.
I don't know. Kaylee, we need clarification. Well, at what point do you just give up? You mean, I'll answer the one for finding someone special. Never. If you want to find someone special, if that's your goal, then you absolutely should continue to put your best foot forward and move forward. Life is short. You only have one, and if something is really important to you, I say go for it. And maybe the reason you want to give up is because you're getting frustrated, which tells me that maybe you need to do something different. Maybe online dating's not working for you. Maybe meeting people out's not working for you. Whatever it is, maybe get some help and see how you can continue to move forward with your goals in a more productive way.
That's very good. Well, there's a wonderful saying about that insanity is doing things the same way and expecting different results.
Right.
So you're not going to get different results if you keep doing it the same way.
Right.
This is from Mark. After you have a wonderful first date, how much should you be in contact with the person? Texting, emails, phone? I play it cool, but it feels like I'm playing games because I want to be in touch with him more than I am. I want to be open and honest, but I don't want to turn him off.
Right, that's a great question. After a wonderful first date, I usually recommend maybe wait a day and then the day after send a text and say, I'd really like to see you again. I don't think it's playing games. I think it's giving someone space. I've worked with people that bombard right away the next day with, oh my God, we had an amazing date. When can I see you? And I think that relationships grow over time, and I think you need to give the person space to catch up to you. So I think let them marinate a little. Let them, go on a nice date, wait a day or two, and then reach out and say you had fun.
That was fun, right. This is from JT267. I had a great first date with this guy. We really hit it off. Great body language, some light touching. We both obviously liked each other. We kissed on the cheek at the end, and I could tell by his eye contact that he was into me. That was on a Friday night. He didn't set a second date that night, though, and I haven't heard back from him in 5 days. Am I misreading this? Shouldn't a second date be set before the end of the first one or shortly thereafter if the guy likes me? Help, I'm into this guy.
Okay, well, first of all, if this guy was my client, I would tell him don't set the second date at the time of the first date. So that part I'm okay with. The fact that 5 days has passed and you haven't heard from him might be a sign that you're not going to hear from him. If you want to do something, what you could do is maybe send a light and breezy text about something you saw. So maybe if you spoke to him about his favorite sports team, let's just say, and they won, you could send a text saying something like, congratulations on your big win, on your big football win last night. You know, so it's just light and breezy, and it just reminds him.
It doesn't say, when are we going to see each other?
Right, exactly. It's just letting him know that all is good on your end, and if he wants to pursue you, you're open.
That's great. This is from Beth. Hi, Tracy. Where is the line between appropriate flirting at the office and inappropriate? I work in a high-stress industry, and sometimes I think people are just blowing off steam, and other times I want to tell them I'm not interested and to leave me alone, but I don't want to seem rude.
Okay, the line of flirting is definitely, I think, at touching. I think it's perfectly fine to smile, to give someone eye contact, to be a little flirty, maybe even admire how well they do their job. Maybe you could also bring someone coffee if you know they like coffee. You know, all of that is really sweet and light and fun and flirty. But the fact that you think that they're being rude makes me think that maybe they're crossing a line. That they're crossing a boundary of yours. So in that situation, I think the best thing to do is to just say, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to go back to my work. Have a good day.
Right, yeah. This is from Eve. Hi, Tracy. I've been told in the past that I come off as cold or even, quote, bitchy when I meet men and try to socialize. I don't want to give that impression, but I think I just get nervous when I meet people. Is there a way to overcome this?
Yes.
Oh, good. Is there?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I host these flirting parties where I take women out to meet men, and so many of them are just very uncomfortable meeting men, so they wind up sitting there like this. Right? I mean, right? Like, that's not...
That's not flirty.
That's not flirty. That's not approachable. That might even come across as cold and bitchy because the person's so uncomfortable that. So I think it's really about shifting your attitude and to just embracing the fact that you want to meet people and that you get yourself into a good place. Make sure that you're wearing clothes that make you feel confident. You've done your steps to change your mindset so that you're feeling really good about yourself, and then just walk in with an attitude of, I'm excited to meet whoever is here.
Right.
And to just keep telling yourself that over and over, and before you know it, you'll start to believe it, and then other people will start to interpret you as someone who is truly excited to meet new people.
Right. This is from Ben. I'm a 33-year-old man and I would like to settle down and have a family. But the last few women I've begun to see regularly have seemed suspicious of my motives, as if they can't believe I'm a nice guy who wants the same things they do. Could I be doing something wrong?
Yes, absolutely, Ben. You are doing something wrong. The reason I know that is because there's a pattern. So what I tell my clients is, anyone can meet anyone. I tell my clients to just be really open. So if once in a while someone is a certain way to you, well, then that's just how they are. But the fact that you're telling me that consistently that women are suspicious of your motives makes me think that maybe there is something you're doing that's making them suspicious of your motives. And if it was really happening for a while, I would actually encourage you to sit down and really think about what it is that you do truly want, and that maybe, the universe is giving you a sign that you're giving out conflicting messages.
Well, not only that, but the idea that you're a 33-year-old man who would like to settle down and have a family, that doesn't sound very specific to me. I want to meet a man who wants to have a family with me. So I'm sure that's what women are thinking. This guy, 2 dates, he wants to have a family. How do I know I'm the one to have it with him?
Right.
There's something non-specific about that.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. I think, Ben, it's time to maybe do a little introspection and figure out maybe the universe is giving you a message.
Right.
And
Because I know so many men run away from women like that.
Right.
Who are talking about babies on the third day. I don't have to be in her problem here. All right, this is from Danielle. Tracy, where are the best places to go and meet people if you live in a big city? I feel like all my friends go to bars constantly, which is fine once in a while, but I haven't had much luck meeting a nice guy who's interested in dating in a bar.
Okay, this is a great question. I love this question, especially if you live in a big city.
Right.
Especially like New York. There are millions of single men walking around the greater New York metropolitan area and Chicago and Los Angeles and everywhere else, every other big city. So wherever you're from, Danielle, if you're living in a big city, there is no shortage of men. In New York, you can't walk down the street without bumping into a handsome single man. So there is no shortage. And it's really about opening up and treating every day like it's a singles party. And by that I mean that, one of my first clients, who hopefully she's not watching this, but she met her husband, who's now the father of 2 of her children, online waiting for a sandwich at a deli. And she said to him, "Is the turkey good here?" And that was the big icebreaker. So if you live in a big city, whether you're going to the deli, whether you're going to the park, whether you're going to the dry cleaners, wherever you are, there are men. And just strike up a conversation about anything in the environment, anything you see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. For her, it was the turkey sandwich.
Right.
But if you're at Starbucks, it can be about the coffee. And just meet men everywhere.
That's great. It's true. This is from Jody. Hi, Tracy. My boyfriend, who I've been seeing for a few months, recently asked if we can stop using protection when we have sex. I trust him, but there's that little voice in the back of my head that questions my judgment. I don't want to regret that decision later on. Is there really a way to know without being a snoop?
Okay, Jody, I say trust your intuition. If you don't feel 100% comfortable with this, then you're not ready to move forward with this step. You didn't mention whether or not you're exclusive or not, and you didn't mention whether or not he was willing to be tested for any type of STDs. So at this point, I think the fact that you're not 100% into it means you're not ready. I say respect that boundary and don't do it.
And a few months is not very long.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
This from Lily. I've been texting with a guy, but he's putting off meeting. Sounds like a red flag, but seems sadly common these days. What are your thoughts on this?
I think he's unavailable.
Yeah.
I think if a man, men are so simple. If they want to see you, they say, "Hi, I want to see you.
That's right.
When can I see you?" So it looks like he's looking for a text relationship, and if that's not if that doesn't work for you, then
Yeah. He's probably married.
yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
the
something.
Elephant Man.
Yeah.
This is from Sally. What are your tips for meeting somebody's family for the first time? I'm going to meet my boyfriend's mother and sister. We've been dating 5 months. I'm nervous.
Yes. Well, it makes sense that you're nervous because this is a big deal and you really want to make sure to put your best foot forward. You really want to maybe calm down your appearance, calm down your language, calm down the topics that you talk about. Maybe in advance you can find out what are some of his mother's and sister's favorite conversations, so you stick with those. But it is important to make a good first impression, and I would treat this somewhere between a first date, a job interview, and
Yeah. But I think the rule of thumb always, whether it's a first date, a job interview, or what, is be yourself.
yes.
I mean, yourself has got to be pretty good. So be yourself, too. I think you can overthink these things. A lot of stuff is spontaneous, don't you think? I mean, I certainly wouldn't go in there with a low-cut dress and start saying 4-letter words.
Right.
But other than that, be yourself.
Right.
Because in the end, it's going to be yourself that shows up.
Right. I always say that. I always say be yourself because eventually you're going to be yourself.
Let's see here. This is from Tapera. Is it natural in us to flirt? Because I always see a lot of people who are in relationships doing it without fear of being caught. Oh, that means somebody's flirting when they shouldn't be.
Right. Well, that sounds like 2 different questions.
Right.
Is it natural for us to flirt? Yes, absolutely. I think we all have the ability. Flirting is really just enjoying yourself, enjoying the lucky person that you're flirting with, having a light and breezy conversation, giving them all of your attention, looking for ways to help them feel good about themselves. So I think as human beings, we all have that in us. So is it natural to flirt? But the other question was, I see people in relationships doing it outside the relationship. And obviously, it really depends on the rules of that particular relationship.
Right.
Some people are perfectly comfortable with it. Some people aren't. So since you don't know what the rules are of that relationship, I say just respect what feels right for you and move on.
Right. This from Lori. Hi, Tracy. What are your thoughts about May-December romances? I'm talking 20 years or more difference. Can that ever really work, or is it just too uneven?
There are countless examples of May-December relationships that work successfully. So
Yes.
I think if that works for you, if that works for the other person, enjoy.
Yeah. I have a best friend, my best friend Sandra, who's been married to a man. She's 75 now. He's now 50. They've been married 25 years. And everybody kept saying to him, grow up already. He's finally 50, so we feel, okay, now it's okay. But they have a wonderful marriage.
Right.
Very lovely.
I don't think age really matters
No, it
that
really
much.
doesn't. This is from Cindy. How can you tell on a date if someone is lying about themselves, their achievements, or their past relationships? Are there red flags to look for?
Definitely. A lot of times, if you become really familiar with someone's body language, you'll know if they're telling the truth or not. But again, if it's a first date and you don't always think that people are lying, but your intuition is telling you that I'm suspicious that this person is lying, then
Yeah, I think so,
there's
too.
no need to.
The
waste
red
any more
flag is in your own brain. You
Right,
know it.
right.
This is from Katie. How much is too much information on a first date? Is it a mistake to talk about your ex or your past relationships, or even ask about his?
Yes. That is probably the worst conversation you can have on a first date. Under no circumstances should you talk about any other date you've ever had in your life other than the one that you are right now. That is a terrible recipe. Yes, there is too much information. Most things are too much information. Keep the conversation light and fun and breezy. There is no reason to go there.
Or ask him about his either.
Oh, no. That is way too invasive. That is way too much information. And really, when you're on a date, when you're on a date with someone, you want all of their attention on you. I don't want someone's attention talking about their ex.
Right.
They're out with me, so focus on me.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
This is from Patricia. Are there nonverbal cues or body language signs to look for on a first date to tell you whether or not it's going well? How can you tell if he's really interested or just being polite?
Yeah, there definitely are nonverbal body language cues. Is this person that you're on a date with, are their eyes lit up? Are they smiling? Are their feet facing you, or are their feet facing the door? Is their body language like this, or are they like this? So yes, absolutely. I think so often we get in our heads and we think about what are they saying, what are they not saying? And I think it's good sometimes to just take a step back and say, well, what do they look like? Like, are they alive and enjoying themselves, or are they uncomfortable and unhappy?
Yeah, and don't put so much at stake on a first date. It's like sometimes you're sitting next to a person at a dinner party. You're married, this person is whatever he is, and you're having a conversation. They're either interesting or they're not interesting.
Right.
I don't sit and think, oh my God, does he like me? Do I like him? Because I'm just talking. I mean, it's just a dinner date. It's interesting. When you're on a date, a real date, the pressure of does he like me, does he not like me, gets in the way of being able to have the conversation and enjoy the other person.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think you should be worrying about whether that person likes you either. I think it should be, do I like this person? Is this, the essence of a first date is really to just decide, am I enjoying myself, and would I enjoy myself if I saw this
Right.
person again?
Right.
So.
But think about that later. Just be in the present now.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
This is from Joan. Nothing is worse on a date than when the conversation suddenly comes to a halt. What do you recommend to keep the conversation flowing? What are the best subjects to bring up when there's a lull?
Sure. So the best way to keep a conversation flowing is to take whatever you're talking about and expand it. So what would be a conversation you'd like to talk about?
I'll be talking about, how I think Obama's doing, or where I want to go on my vacation.
Okay, great. So let's say vacation, right?
Okay.
So let's say, where do you want to go on your vacation?
Barbados.
Okay. So let's say you're on a date and you're talking about Barbados and you're all excited about your upcoming vacation, and then you're done with Barbados. The best thing to do is to take that topic and expand it. So since Barbados is a vacation, you could ask, if I was on a date with you, I would say, well, where else would you want to go? Or where else have you been that you enjoyed? So you're keeping the subject going, but you're expanding it to include other.
And what's so great about Barbados? What's good there?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. This from Kaylee. What is chemistry? What is chemistry? There's the question. And how important is it in a long-term partnership or marriage? That spark can die, but values and love can still hold people together, right?
Definitely. And I think that when you have values in love, I don't really think the chemistry spark dies. You know, the essence of chemistry is really that connection. It's really about looking into their eyes, enjoying them, really absorbing, like you were talking about earlier, the moment, what they're talking about, and just really enjoying yourself and enjoying what the person is sharing with you. So chemistry is really important, but I don't think it automatically dies over long term. I mean, my husband and I are married almost 7 years, and I think we have great chemistry.
Oh, you're just babies. I've been married 35 years, and I'll tell you, the spark doesn't die. If it does, then that's too sad, and then it is over. But I believe that as long as the pilot light is on, as long as that little pilot light is on that can be stoked and turned up whenever you want to, then your marriage is okay.
Right.
And yes, values do mean a lot. This is from June. Hi, Tracy. I've been dating this guy on and off for almost 9 months, and he hasn't said that he wants to make a monogamous commitment to me. However, he has acted strange and standoffish ever since a friend posted a few photos of me with another guy when we were on a work trip. He can't have it both ways. What's the best way to get him to make up his mind?
June, I think he's made up his mind. I think that after 9 months, if you're ready to be exclusive with him and he's not, I think the best thing to do is to say, listen, great guy, I'm crazy about you. I think we have something really special. I'm looking to become exclusive with you, but you're obviously not ready for that. I need to take some time apart and think about what I want.
Great. And I'd like to know what were those photos like? Did everybody have their clothes on in those photos? This is from Ellie. I've been dating a man for 5 years now, and he's been talking about marriage recently. I don't know what to do because I don't want to hurt him, but I don't think I want to marry him either. Is it time for me to move on?
If you're not ready for marriage after 5 years and he is ready for marriage after 5 years, that's pretty black and white. I mean, unfortunately, the best thing to do is to just be honest about both your loving feelings for him, but also where you are in the stage of the relationship, and then leave it up to him. If you say, well, I think I will be ready at some point, or are you someone who's never wanted to get married? I think
that's okay. I mean, some people don't want to be married.
And I think that's perfectly fine.
And the pressure to marry is terrible.
It's all about making him feel good while being authentic and honest about who you are and what you want out of life.
Right. This is from Jade. Tracy, I've been dating someone for a year now, and recently my job told me that they need to transfer me to another state. Is a long-distance relationship really something people can live with? I'm not sure if we've been together long enough to even broach that topic. What should I do?
Well, if you've been dating for a year, Jay, and you're exclusive and it's going well, and you're considering moving, I think it's if this is a relationship that you want to potentially take seriously, then I definitely think you should speak to your girlfriend and see what she'll do. Maybe there are ways that you can make it work. Maybe you can see each other on the weekends, or I think long distance relationships work for lots of people, and I don't know whether or not it's going to work for you and your girlfriend, but it sounds like it's definitely worth the conversation and seeing what kind of compromises you can make if you both want to keep the relationship moving forward.
Right. And Jay is a guy, and he doesn't say that he's dating a woman, so maybe it's a guy friend, a guy boyfriend.
That's true.
So
That's
it's true for either way.
Yes,
and we wish you luck either way.
Yes.
This is from Lisa. Hi, Tracy. I've seen the same guy at a bar I go to on weekends with my friends. We've made eye contact, and there has definitely been a spark, But now what? I don't know this guy. He's a stranger and he hasn't come up to me either. I'm really intrigued and attracted to him, but I don't know how to make the first move. Help.
Okay, Lisa, the best thing to do, the fact that you already have the eye contact going means that you've hit the tennis ball to him, he's hit the tennis ball back to you. There's a little flirtation going. I say just ask him a question about anything that's in the environment. So the next time you are at the bar and you see him, you can just say, "That's an interesting drink. What is it?" Or,
yeah, right.
or anything. Or, "I love this song. Do you know who sings it?" Or anything that's in the environment. Just ask a light, easy to answer question and get your flirt on.
Yeah, very good. This is from Roxy. When my boyfriend and I fight, I feel like I'm always the one who has to initiate our reconciliation. It's not fair. Does that mean he doesn't care?
Roxy, it doesn't mean that he doesn't care, but it means that he waits for you to reconcile. So if you're really uncomfortable with it, then I say maybe give him a little more space, maybe give him a little more time. You know, different people are ready to come back to the relationship at different times. You might just be ready before he is. So I say the next time that you have a disagreement, just give him a little more space and see what he does. But I don't think it means that he doesn't care.
Some people don't know how to come back. They don't know how to say they're sorry. They don't know how to say, let's try. They're just too tied up inside. I think that's a very good idea, is to give them space enough to see what they do if there is some space between it. You're very good at this. You are a datologist.
It is such an honor to be here with you. I've admired you forever.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Thank you so much, Tracy. Come back
thank
again.
you.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.